I don't know. I'd say I'm reasonable.
Okay, that's completely unreasonable.
I'm reasonable.
I'm unreasonable.
You have no idea just how reasonable I have been.
Reasonable synonyms are sensible, rational, practical, fair, appropriate.
Fitting, suitable, logical.
All things I would definitely say describe me.
Do they describe you?
Welcome to I'm Reasonable with Zainab Johnson.
I'm reasonable.
Hey, you guys, welcome to another episode of I'm Reasonable with Zainab Johnson. I am Zainab Johnson. I'm in New Zealand. I'm in New Zealand right now. Last week when I taped an episode, I was still in Melbourne, Australia doing shows. They were phenomenal. Thank you. Every single person that came out and sold out mine and Joel Kim Booster's shows in Melbourne at the Melbourne International Comedy Festival. Thank you so much. It was lovely meeting you all. It was lovely performing in front of you guys. Thank you so much. You showed us so much love. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now I am in New Zealand just taking in all the fresh air and the sight and all of that stuff. And so I obviously I have a different background, right? And this will be a shorter episode. This will be a shorter episode because I'm only in New Zealand for a very limited amount of time. Then I head to Sydney, Australia, and then I head back to the States. But I didn't want you guys to miss out. And so I was like, let me just take a little bit of time from the fun. Today is the first day that I'm a bit ahead of the States. I don't know where you're watching from, but for me right now, it is actually Wednesday, April 10th. And so it is the Eid. It is Eid al-Fitr, and it is the first day that I can eat and drink while the sun is up. And so I went to the beach today. I went to a beach called Piha. Oh my God. Oh my God. So beautiful, so therapeutic. And then I had some vegan smash burgers. And I'm doing more stuff because I'm being touristy. You know, I climbed a mountain and I climbed an inactive volcano anyway. I had a little bit of time and I'm like, you know what? Let me give my I'm Reasonable listeners a nice, quick, short episode. So this week, I am not going to get into a What's Up with Z because What's Up with Z is I'm in a rush. Okay? And I feel like I'm being very reasonable, stopping what I'm doing for at least an hour to talk to you guys and let you guys know that I'm so appreciative at the growth that I'm seeing, at you guys' support, that I'm not about to not hit y'all with an episode, even if I am in one of the most beautiful countries I have ever experienced. I'm also not going to give you an Ask Z because y'all know that be taking time. When we be diving into other people's situations, that be taking time. And so I'll give you guys a real juicy Ask Z when I'm back in the States next week. And you know, it's so many stories. It's so many stories to get into. Jonathan Majors, the phenomenal actor who has, you know, stumbled upon an unfortunate time. Maybe not unfortunate. I don't know. That's something that we could discuss, but definitely a pivotal moment in his adult life and definitely career. I'd like to delve into that. He was sentenced to probation today for the misdemeanor he was found guilty of with his then girlfriend. I don't know her name offhand. Dave Chappelle versus Gerard Carmichael. Comedy beef. Who's reasonable and who's unreasonable in that situation? Too much for me to, y'all know, because I would have to talk about that so delicately because I too am a comic, a fan of them both, have worked with them both, and yeah, you know, that would be a delicate deep dive, you know. So not enough time today. I'm sure you guys are aware, maybe you're not, Ethan Crumbley's parents, that's the kid that committed a heinous crime, and his parents were also tried for it and they were found guilty as well. And I don't want to really dive into that situation because it's really cut and dry. They were sentenced to 15 years, both parents, I believe. But I just really wanted to, on one of these episodes, really explore like how much parents should be held responsible for the actions of their children. But again, no time. My love for Cowboy Carter. I don't even know if I could go into my love for Cowboy Carter because it's not like on YouTube I could play the tracks, right? Because I know, let me tell you who I know will get the video shut down. Let me tell you who is copy and written. Beyonce Giselle, okay? Oh, my light just went off. I thought I charged it enough. You see that gorgeous light? Did I not charge it enough? If it goes off again, I'm going to have to power down you guys for a quick second. And then we're going to have to power down for a quick second because I ain't got on no makeup or not, like no makeup and bad lighting. No. I will be right back. Okay, and I'm back. The other thing that I really wanted to talk about was, it's way too much to get into, but obviously all things diddy, party, and not so much. Everything is unfolding. Like there's really nothing to talk about. There's only speculations. There's only, curiosity and whatever, right? But I did want to talk about like people offering up things that are slightly, only a tiny bit disparaging, having nothing to do with like the sexual assault. And I'll never even talk about like homophobic or homosexual accusations, gay accusations, because I think whenever you talk about a person being gay, like there's something wrong with that, then that sets the any progress that the queer community has had, it sets it back. To criminalize a person, even if they've been closeted, to criminalize it, to focus on that, I think is always the wrong move. But consent, I don't care if you gay, straight, bi, whatever. Consent is very important. And so I'm not going to dive into those things. If you want to look at stuff like that, there's so many content creators on TikTok that start their content off with, I'm not a lawyer, but, and then they go, right? So that's really not what I wanted to get into, but I really find it interesting, and I wanted to explore the people who are saying just slightly disparaging things that will catch way more fire, will move with way more energy right now because there's so much negative press as it relates to Diddy. For example, if I were like, yeah, I was a waitress at this restaurant and he didn't tip me, it's like, that's really not going to get any wind on any other day. But now it's like, oh, the feds raided your house, you being, you have alleged sexual assault over the years and you not leaving good tips. Do you get what I'm saying? Like stuff like that. Like, is that stuff reasonable to whatever? We ain't got the time. There's one story that I'm going to go into today, the only story that I'm going to go into today. And I normally actually wouldn't cover this, but it's kind of like fluff. It's fluff. And it's been up and down my timeline, which is strange because neither one of these people, I don't think I engage in any way to have these two people on my timeline. What I'm referring to, the only story that we're going to get in today and decide if it's reasonable or unreasonable is the Ricky Martin Madonna story. So like you guys know, maybe you know, I don't know. I've heard Madonna is on tour. Madonna is on tour. And I didn't know Madonna's on tour. I don't want to say like I'm not a fan, like I don't like Madonna, but like I don't even think that I would go to, and I say this humbly, and I say this not to say Madonna's bad. Like Madonna one is before my time, really. Also, I'm not really into singers that can't really sing. You know what I'm saying? You can't really sing or dance. This sounds like I'm dissing her, but I'm not. It's like I know that Madonna, brought the whole voguing to mainstream, right? But other than that, like I don't even think that I would go to a Madonna concert even if it were free. Me personally, right? I'm like, I don't know, like I'm very particular on how I spend my free time, you know? Like, obviously, I paid for Usher. Obviously, I paid for Beyonce. Obviously, there's so many people. I'll pay for Kendrick. I'll pay for J. Cole. There's a lot of people. I'm paying for Mary J. Blige. I'll pay for, I'll pay for acts that I grew up on, like TLC. I might even pay for a Michael Jackson hologram act. Now, listen, we could decide later if that's unreasonable or reasonable. Number one, because it's a hologram. Number two, Michael, dead and alive, had some allegations, right? But I don't know. I don't know how free I'd have to be to attend a Madonna concert and or a Ricky Martin concert. But Madonna's on tour, and I believe her Miami show, Ricky Martin was a special guest. He performed a song with her, and she also has a part in her concert where her dancers are doing kind of like a vogue off. And so she had Ricky Martin sit on stage and judge the vogue off, right? And basically, apparently, allegedly, he got an erection, and the internet is in a tizzy. The internet is in a tizzy. There's all of these stories, they are talking about, did he get an erection? Fans are saying he most certainly did. People are saying it's awkward. I think this is like, it's not unreasonable that it's press, right? Because Madonna is very famous. Ricky Martin is very famous. And if there's a supposed erection of his that's captured and has been released to the internet. And so I do feel like people can talk about it, but I just don't feel like it's very reasonable to shame him for having it. Now, apparently he reposted the footage and he didn't address it at all. He was just like, Madonna, thank you for inviting me to the party, or always glad to have an invite to the party. Now, listen, Party been having a bad rep when it come to Diddy, right? Everybody like, I don't go to them parties. I ain't never been to the party. But now we have Ricky Martin like, thank you for inviting me to the party. It's always fun to be invited to the party. Anyway, you see a lot of publications and a lot of users online were like, ooh, it was awkward. And why did he become erect? And I personally find that wildly unreasonable for a few reasons. The first reason, biology. But first of all, watch the video. Okay, so if you see in that video, Ricky Martin, an openly, was not always open, but now an openly gay man, is sitting on stage as two other men, fit bodies, fine ass fit bodies, are one grinding up on him, grinding up on each other as they grind up on him, and you think he's not going to have an erection? Let me just give y'all biology. Okay, this is not opinion. This is an erect penis is caused. It's sexual arousal, which is the physiological and psychological response when exposed to sexual stimuli. What is more stimulating for a gay man than two fine, fit, gay men to be grinding up on each other and grinding up on him? Now, it might not be for me. That might not be for me. It might not do nothing for me. But for Ricky Martin, what is he? I don't even think, it's not like he was like, ooh, it didn't seem perverted. It seems like the body naturally. There was friction, there was physical friction and psychological, meaning he's seeing something that is sending a direct signal to his nervous system. They're sending a direct signal to the blood saying we got to go to this part of the body because when we feel this way, we shoot blood to this part of the body. It is a biological response. It is science. So why is it awkward? Why is it taboo? It was consensual, right? He didn't force it on anybody. He didn't then use it as a weapon, not that we know of. Now, if later it comes out like, oh, he got erect, and then he was harassing the two dancers that weren't, then now we got a problem. But if that's not the case, if his body naturally reacts, it's the same as a woman. If I walk outside with a revealing shirt or no bra or something like that, if I'm cold, guess what? My nipples are going to become hard. I don't even got no control over it. I could tell my brain, nipples get soft. It is a physical response. It is involuntary. So could you imagine if you were a woman and your nipples became hard for whatever reason, right? A reason that is not really within your control, right? Like, yeah, oh, okay, you have on like a sheer shirt or a thin shirt and you walk into a cold room, right? And there's people, everybody can see your hard nipples going through your shirt, and somebody is like, oh, shame on you. What is this, the 1920s? And I personally don't like, y'all saw my stand-up special. I mean, I hope if you didn't watch it now, hijabs off on Prime Video. But you see, I say very specifically, an unsolicited dick is the worst thing in the world. But it wasn't unsolicited. It was completely solicited. It was inside, but it was most certainly a solicited response. It is literally what was happening on that stage was not safe for work and clearly not safe for Ricky Martin. So biology is one. The second thing is, I kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, but for a very long time, Ricky Martin was closeted. He was a closeted gay man. And now he is out and he is proud and he is up. There was a time probably not even that long ago where he probably couldn't have even been this free on stage at a Madonna concert. He probably, out of fear of losing his fans, maybe the people close in his life, maybe even his career, being outed or anything. There was a time in his life where he didn't have this freedom, where he had to lie about who he was. I had no idea that Ricky Martin was gay until I watched I think I had watched that FX series on Versace. So there was some time ago in the very recent past that he couldn't even be on stage doing this very thing that we're watching. And so, okay, we watched it. Y'all saw the video. Those are almost completely naked, fit men. That scene looked to me, I may be naive, gay men, please, chime in the comments. But I would imagine that what he was experiencing on that stage, just the whole tableau of it all, I would imagine that is a fantasy for most gay men. And so for him to have a physiological response, a very natural physiological response, for our bodies to be aroused when sexually stimulated, that's natural. That's not something we got from somewhere. That's something we were born with. That's something that, however you feel about the universe, I believe in God. Eid Mubarak, by the way. Did I say that earlier? Eid Mubarak. That's something that is in us. So when you think about it, it's like, okay, well, now he is an out and proud gay man. He was stimulated on stage and he had an erection. Why would we shame him for that? Why would we shame him? Him, of like anybody that is very new to, and I'm not trying to like handle Ricky Martin with kid gloves. It just seems reasonable to consider all of what I'm saying when we go into like, ew, he got an erection, that was weird, and control yourself, and how dare you, and like, why did he get an erect? It seems obvious, and honestly, it seems okay given the context. Lastly, and my friend pointed this out to me. My friend Aisha, who was traveling with me, she was like, "And girl," that's how and girl. I said, "What girl?" She was like, "And girl." I mean, if I was a dancer doing all of that and he didn't get aroused, I would be offended. And I said, girl, I ain't even consider that. I ain't even consider that his erection might have been a compliment to the dancers. I mean, I don't know. That's not a fact. But that's just some other information that she presented to me that I hadn't even considered. Because like I said, me, I'm a prude. A penis? That's me. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Is that a penis? That's me. Unless I'm in love and I've invited the penis to be there. Then I'm like, oh my God, shut up with your penis. You know what I'm saying? Not shut up with your penis. But yeah, maybe it was a compliment to the dancer. Like, maybe the dancer went backstage and was like, yo, you see, you saw Ricky? You saw Ricky? Did you see Ricky? Did you see Ricky was Ricky in? I don't know. You get what I'm saying? But again, if he was erect and then we heard news that it carried on further in a non-consensual way, then of course that is a huge problem. But given the video and the context, for a man that is very much into that sort of sexual pleasure and sexual behavior, like maybe that wouldn't have happened to, maybe even if that were a woman who could sit there and be like somebody, they could grind on her, but she's maybe not attracted to two men having sex. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that won't arouse her. Or maybe if that was like a straight guy who was comfortable with that sort of behavior happening, you know what I'm saying? And he wasn't, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, or maybe if it's a straight woman and she still got aroused, but I don't think that there's any reason to shame that. I think it's something that you can identify, like, oh, you see Ricky got a Ricky. Do you get what I'm saying? But I don't think it's anything to shame. I think that it is really unreasonable to try to shame him for becoming erect in that situation, and only becoming erect and sitting back down and then enjoying the rest of the show. You guys in the comments, let me know what you think. That's it for me. I know this was very short. Don't worry. I'm going to give you guys a robust episode when I am back home and have the time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Before you go, make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe this video. Y'all better like this one. I stopped New Zealand. I stopped New Zealand to give it to you. Make sure that you like it, that you subscribe so that you know when I'm putting up new things. In the comments of this, I'll have my show dates. Yes. So make sure you guys get those tickets. And we just confirmed the London dates. We just confirmed my London dates. Which I will reveal on next week's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in to I'm Reasonable with Zainab Johnson. I will see you guys next week. Bye.
Yeah.